Let's talk about something we all have to deal with, trying to make sense of our absolutely chaotic online world. You hear it all the time, right? Do your own research. But what if the way we were all taught to do that is actually the very thing that leads us straight down the rabbit hole?
This quote from digital literacy expert Michael Caulfield it hits the nail on the head. In this infodemic we're living through, the biggest risk isn't just getting fooled by one piece of fake news. The real danger is that we get so overwhelmed, so skeptical of everything, that we just throw our hands up and stop believing that finding the truth is even possible.
And honestly, it's no wonder we feel that way. I mean, to really get a sense of this infodemic, just look at this number. 100,000. That's how many scientific articles were published about COVID-19 in a single year. That's not a stream of information, you guys. That's a full-on tidal wave. And keeping up with that, it's literally impossible.
So when you're facing that tidal wave, you have to make split-second decisions about what to trust. And here's the problem. The habits most of us learned for checking information, the things that feel totally normal and intuitive, they're breaking down under all this pressure.
Think about it. When most of us land on a website we don't know, we read vertically. We stay right there on the page. We click the About Us link, we check out the design to see if it looks professional, maybe we glance at the URL. It's kind of like trying to understand a giant piece of land by just digging one very, very deep hole in a single spot.
But get this, professional fact-checkers do the complete opposite. Instead of digging that one deep hole, they read laterally. The moment they land on a site they don't recognize, they leave. That's right, they immediately open new tabs and ask a much smarter question. What does the rest of the internet say about this source? That simple little pivot, it's the whole game. So how can the rest of us start to think like a fact-checker without, making it our full-time job? Well, that's where this simple, really powerful method called SIFT comes in. It's a framework designed by that same expert, Mike Caulfield, to make this lateral reading thing a quick and easy habit for anybody.
And let's be super clear about this. SIFT is not about spending more time doing research. It's actually the opposite. It's all about using your first 30 to 60 seconds way more effectively just to figure out if a source is even worth your attention in the first place.
So SIFT breaks this all down into 4 really simple moves. Think of them as 4 new habits that can completely transform the way you read online. And here they are, the whole shebang. It's an acronym, SIFT. It stands for Stop, Investigate the Source, Find Better Coverage, and Trace Claims back to where they started. So let's take a quick look at what each of these means.
The first move is so easy, but it might be the most powerful one. Just stop. Especially when you see something online that makes you feel a really strong emotion, like you get angry or super excited. Before you share, before you even read it, just pause, just for a second, and ask yourself, wait a minute, do we even know this website? Who is this person?
Next, you investigate. This is that lateral reading we talked about. You literally just open a new tab and search for the author or the publication. You're not looking for what they say about themselves. You want to know what other people say about them. And funnily enough, Wikipedia is actually a fantastic place for a quick overview of a source's reputation. The third move is to find better coverage. The idea here is to quickly check for a consensus. Are a bunch of well-known, reliable sources all reporting the same story? Or is it just this one random website? A quick search on a news site will tell you a lot in just a few seconds. And finally, T is for trace. Trace those quotes, stats, and videos back to their original context. A ton of misinformation doesn't just invent things from scratch. It works by taking a real quote or a real video clip and twisting it, taking it totally out of context. So your goal is to get back to that original source and see for yourself. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, a study at Simon Fraser University wanted to find out, so they taught the SIFT method to a group of college students.
The results were pretty staggering. Before learning SIFT, only about 10% of students ever bothered to leave the website to check its credibility. But after a quick lesson on SIFT, that number jumped to over 84%. 84! That is a massive, massive change in behavior.
And what's really cool is that the students didn't see this as a chore. They actually found it empowering. Just listen to this student who called the process fascinating and said they were glad to have this skill. It wasn't about making them more cynical, it was about making them feel more in control.
So here's the bottom line. SIFT is not some complicated academic exercise. It's a practical, fast, and effective habit.
You could even call it a personal superpower for navigating the modern internet.
And that's really why it matters so much. It actually saves you time, because you don't get sucked into a bad source for 20 minutes. It builds that instinct to always check for context. But most importantly, it flips the script. It turns you from being a passive victim of information into an active, empowered evaluator.
So the next time you're scrolling and some shocking headline or a wild claim stops you in your tracks, you'll know exactly what to do. You've got the tools now. So the only question is, what's the first thing you're going to sift?